What happens when the most powerful man in the UFC shakes hands with one of the most controversial businessmen in China? Dana White's trip overseas raised eyebrows, but while he was smiling in Shanghai, chaos was exploding back home in the fight world. A shocking beatdown at a wrestling event has left one man in critical condition. Police have launched a full investigation, and the MMA community is absolutely tearing itself apart over what really went down. Tonight, we're breaking down the handshakes, the violence, the fallout, and the question everyone's asking: is this just the ugly side of combat sports or something far more dangerous? When Dana White landed in Shanghai, the headlines weren't just about UFC's global expansion. They were about the man waiting to greet him, a Chinese tycoon nicknamed the Chinese Trump. That title isn't random. The man is famous for his bold personality, flashy wealth, and controversial business moves that earned him both admirers and critics. So when UFC's CEO shook his hand, it instantly raised questions. Was this just a polite welcome or the start of a new partnership that could shift the future of MMA in Asia? The exchange itself looked friendly. Smiles, small talk, even a joke about hosting fights in the White House.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to China. Welcome to Shanghai.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I heard you arrived yesterday.
I did.
Right? So how was your flight? How's everything?
It was perfect.
How's the sleep?
Excellent.
How's Shanghai treating you right
Incredible.
now?
I love the city.
Did you get a chance to look around?
I did. We've looked around a little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You're hosting a fight in the White House. That's a tremendous idea. I like it so much. It's incredible. And is there a chance? Because I'm also a big fan myself. Is there a chance I can get a ticket, maybe, invitation or something?
Yeah,
I'd love to come.
I think we can get you in there.
Is that too much to ask?
No,
It's okay.
not at all. We'd love to have you.
Okay, thank you.
But beneath the politeness, fans online were already debating whether Dana was aligning the UFC with one of China's most polarizing figures. And while Dana White was busy opening doors on the other side of the world, back in Los Angeles, one door slammed shut as Rampage Jackson's son Raja found himself at the center of a violent scandal that shocked the entire fight community. While Dana was shaking hands overseas, Rampage Jackson's son Raja was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. At a Knox Pro Wrestling event in Los Angeles, Raja was caught on a live stream launching a brutal assault on a professional wrestler. What should have been just another night of scripted chaos suddenly turned very real and very violent. Witnesses say Raja stormed the ring and unleashed a barrage of strikes, leaving the wrestler badly injured before others rushed in to pull him off. The shocking footage spread online within minutes, with fans in disbelief at what they'd just seen. Police confirmed they were called to the scene and that a report was filed. Now, the LAPD has officially opened an investigation into Raja's actions, and if the evidence holds up, he could be facing charges that go far beyond a simple fight. But the most disturbing part? The wrestler on the receiving end wasn't just shaken up, he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, and the updates on his health would leave fans stunned. The man Raja attacked wasn't just shaken up, he was fighting for his life. Identified as pro wrestler Stuart Stu Smith, he was rushed from the event straight to the hospital with devastating injuries. Reports confirmed broken facial bones, multiple teeth knocked out, and at one point, he was choking on his own blood. Doctors managed to stabilize him, but his condition was so severe that he was placed in critical care. His brother Andrew later shared a post online, confirming that Stu was awake but still in a fragile state. The family also warned fans not to fall for fake fundraising pages, making it clear they hadn't set up a GoFundMe and were simply focused on his recovery. For fans who had watched the chaos unfold on stream, this was the gut punch that made everything feel real. This wasn't just wrestling. This wasn't entertainment. A man was left clinging to stability after what many are now calling one of the most shocking incidents in recent pro wrestling history. As the updates poured in, all eyes turned to Raja's father, Rampage Jackson, to see how he would respond. When footage of the attack started circulating, it didn't take long for Rampage Jackson himself to address the situation. The former UFC star went live, visibly frustrated and caught between, defending his son and confronting the reality of what had just happened. Rampage claimed Raja had been provoked, that during the event, a wrestler had blindsided his son with a bottle, mistaking him for part of the show. According to Rampage, Raja wasn't told about it in advance and felt humiliated in front of a live crowd. He suggested that this moment lit the fuse that later exploded into the violent assault. But even in defending his son, Rampage admitted he was torn. He hinted that Raja's actions crossed a line, acknowledging that things had spiraled too far and that he himself needed to talk to his son's coach to keep from reacting in a way that could get him locked up. The live stream was raw and emotional, showing a father trying to balance his loyalty to family with the harsh truth that the incident had gone too far. But if Rampage hoped to calm things down, the internet had other plans. Because once the MMA community weighed in, the backlash was overwhelming. The man Raja attacked wasn't just another wrestler trying to put on a show. Stu Smith had a story that made the incident even more heartbreaking. Before stepping into the ring, Smith served in the U.S. Army. Like so many veterans, he struggled with PTSD after leaving the military and was searching for a way to rebuild his life. Wrestling wasn't just a hobby for him. It was therapy. It gave him focus, structure, and a way to channel his battles into something positive. In interviews, Smith once admitted that being in front of a crowd helped him manage the anxiety and aggression that came with his PTSD. The ring wasn't just a stage, it was a safe place where he could fight his demons without hurting anyone. That's what makes this attack so devastating. A man who turned to wrestling for healing ended up, brutalized in the very arena that was supposed to protect him. Fans who learned about his story were outraged, and sympathy for Smith quickly turned into fury toward Raja. And that outrage only grew louder when the MMA world, fighters, trainers, and fans alike, began weighing in on the incident. Once the details came out, the MMA world lit up with reactions, and they weren't holding back. Fighters, trainers, and fans from every corner of the community weighed in, and the responses ranged from furious to disgusted to downright mocking. Former UFC fighter Tom Lawler didn't mince words. He warned wrestlers to be careful who you trust and reminded everyone that no one is watching out for you in this business. His message was clear. This wasn't just bad behavior. It was a dangerous betrayal inside a world built on trust. Sean Strickland, never one to stay quiet, mocked Raja's meltdown by suggesting he needed anger management classes, adding that not everyone who takes that route will still have the right to vote or own a firearm afterward. His sharp jab only added fuel to fire. Others were even harsher. Rising star Ryan Garcia called the worst thing I've seen in a long time and demanded a serious conversation about how streaming culture is pushing people to dangerous extremes just for attention. Ben Askren agreed, blasting the incident as part of the battle to see who can do the dumbest thing online. But perhaps the most shocking response came from Kevin Lee, who flat out said Raja needs to go to prison. He explained that if it were his own son, he'd still turn him in, because what happened wasn't just a mistake, it was criminal. The avalanche of backlash made one thing clear. The MMA world wasn't going to let this slide. And if the fighter reactions weren't enough, social media only turned the volume up louder. As if the fighter reactions weren't enough, social media turned the incident into a full-blown firestorm. Within hours, clips of Raja's attack were everywhere. TikTok edits, Twitter threads, and YouTube replays breaking down every angle of the brawl. But the internet didn't just stop at outrage. It did what it always does. It turned the chaos into content. Memes began flooding timelines, with some mocking Raja's meltdown and others roasting Rampage for trying to defend him. One viral post compared the fight to a glitched WWE match, while another showed Raja's outburst side by side with toddlers throwing tantrums. The top 3 memes gained thousands of shares within hours, with fans joking about Raja's new finishing move and others calling him the first fighter to rage quit real life. The humor was dark, but spread fast, proving once again how quickly tragedy and controversy can be repackaged into viral entertainment. Yet beneath the laughter and trolling, the reality was grim. A man was still in critical care. A family was begging for privacy. And Raj's future looked like it was hanging by a thread. Because beyond the memes, this wasn't just a fight gone wrong. It was a reminder of how streaming culture, clout chasing, and unchecked anger can collide in the worst way possible. When you strip away the memes, the hot takes, and the viral clips, what's left is a story that says a lot about where combat sports and streaming culture are headed. For Roger Jackson, this wasn't just a moment of bad judgment. It was the kind of outburst that could define his entire future. Legal trouble is looming. His reputation has taken a massive hit, and the shadow it casts over his father Rampage is undeniable. In an era where every mistake is broadcasted live, there's no hiding, no excuses, and no easy way back. For Stuart Smith, the victim, this incident wasn't just about broken bones. It was about a man who fought for his country, turned to wrestling to fight his inner battles, and ended up blindsided in the very arena that was supposed to heal him. His story is a sobering reminder that the consequences of rage can reach far beyond the person throwing the punches. And for the fight world as a whole, this was another wake-up call. It showed how fragile the line is between entertainment and real violence, and how dangerous it can be when that line is crossed. Add in the pressures of streaming culture, where everything is done for views, and you've got a recipe for disaster that no one seems ready to control. Because whether it's UFC making global power moves or a young fighter spiraling out of control, one thing is clear. Combat sports are living through a moment where the spotlight is brighter, harsher, and less forgiving than ever before. From the glitzy handshakes of Dana White in Shanghai to the shocking violence unfolding back home, this one night exposed both the glory and the dark underbelly of combat sports. On one side, the UFC is reaching new global heights, shaking hands with billionaires and expanding into new markets. On the other, a single moment of unchecked rage turned a wrestling event into a nightmare, leaving a veteran in critical care and igniting a firestorm across the MMA world. The fallout has been immediate. Legal investigations, viral memes, fighter outrage, and an internet audience that thrives on chaos. And while it's easy to scroll past the clips and laugh at the memes, the reality is serious. One impulsive decision can change lives, destroy reputations, and leave consequences that linger far longer than a viral clip. As fans, we watch the highlights, share the memes, and debate the actions. But behind every punch and every live stream is a human story, a family impacted, and a world that demands responsibility. So, the question remains, will the lessons of this incident be remembered, or will the next viral outrage erase them entirely? One thing is certain. In the world of combat sports, nothing stays contained for long. If you want to stay updated on this story and every twist in the MMA world, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because in a world where everything is live, the next headline is only a click away.